All right, what we're going to talk about today is when shops start out, they usually just get a 5 gallon bucket of coolant, fill up a 5 gallon bucket of water. You take your coolant, put it in some kind of measuring cup, add it to your water, mix it up. You always put your coolant into your water, otherwise, it doesn't bond correctly and it can separate over time. Uh, the next level up from that would be a premixer, which is this red thing back here. What a premixer does is you hook up the water hose to it. It runs water over the premixer, which has a hole in it, and it creates a venturi and sucks your coolant out of either a 5 gallon bucket like I have here or a 55 gallon drum. And then it automatically mixes it. You can adjust the mixture with this knob on the top. And then I've seen shops put them in 5 gallon buckets and then take the buckets to the machine, but I just have it plumbed right into the tank at the back of the machine. So you just turn the hose on, it automatically mixes it and fills up the tank. One problem that happens with that is you get a Lake Superior all over your floor if somebody comes and asks you a question and you walk away and forget about it. So the next best thing would be to have one of those automatic systems that cost up to tens of thousands of dollars that fill up your machine and shut off automatically. But like I said, they get really expensive. So this is what I've come up with. This is a water flow control meter. And what it does is this is a meter and this is a solenoid. You can program this for gallons or liters, and I've got it set to 10 gallons. So once it senses that 10 gallons has gone through this meter, the solenoid here shuts off, and then you don't have that giant mess. So I don't have water out here in the shop. So during the winter, I just fill up this big tote, and I've got a pump to pump the water through. Otherwise, I run a hose to the house. And how this works is you set your how much water you want, and then you just hit go, and then it automatically starts filling up your tank or your bucket. And then like I said, once it gets to 10 gallons, it'll shut off. It also keeps track of how many gallons you've used. So last year, I used 630 gallons. And to shut it off, you just hit the run stop button either twice or once, depending on the light's on. These things come with a 12-volt power supply, and instead of using that hooks to the wall, I just cut it and put a 12-volt Dewalt battery on it. So now this in the bucket, I can just pick this up and move it to another machine if I need to go to another machine. This is the controller, and you got to be careful if you order one. There's two different options. There's this option that's just the controller, and it does nothing for you. You need to get the solenoid and the flow meter. It also comes with the temperature gauge, which I'm not using because that doesn't matter in my case. I believe these were originally designed for breweries, but make sure you get the one with the 2 meters, and that's the power supply that I cut up and wired in that battery. When I bought this controller a couple years ago, it was over $100. Now it's only 65 bucks, and so they've been dropping in price quite a bit, and it's been super reliable. I have had zero issues with this. The only additional parts that you need are the adapters to connect the flow meter and the solenoid to the garden hose, and after you got that set up, it's pretty self-explanatory. Until you get to the point where you need one of those big industrial ones, this is a great option. And like I said, no issues. If you have any questions, feel free to comment and I'll get back to you when I see them.